So for number 4, we are we're translating these definitions into quantified sentences. So let's begin with A. The relation R is symmetric. And I've pasted here the definitions so that we can reference them. So we're talking about R is symmetric, this one. So we're saying R is symmetric if and only if for all X and all Y belonging to A. So we're always going to start with our quantifiers. So in this case, for all, we're talking about the universal. So for all X and for all Y belonging to the universe A, can't forget the universe, we're saying that R is symmetric if and only if, so by conditional, if and only if X are Y, if only if, then if X are Y, then Y are X. So if and only if, then we have a conditional here, right? We're saying if X are Y, then Y are X. So we have a conditional inside a biconditional, and then we have to close those parentheses. So for B, we have the relation R is transitive. So we're over here. And once more, we're saying for all X, Y, and Z. So we always begin with our quantifiers. Here we have the universal. So for all X, for all Y, and for all Z belonging to the universe A. And then we're saying R is transitive if and only if R is transitive. If and only if X are Y and Y are Z, then X are Z. So we're saying we have a conditional inside a biconditional. We're saying if X are Y and Y are Z, then X are Z. So it has the same structure, right? So it's a biconditional that we're saying it's transitive if and only if, and then inside that we have a conditional. So if X are Y and Y are Z, then X are Z. So for C, we have the definition of one-to-one. So let's see, we're over here, and then we're saying a function f from A to B is one-to-one. If and only if, whenever f of x equals f of y, then x is equal to y. So for here, we're not saying there exists, but we're saying for all, right? So we're saying for all x and for all y belonging to A, we're going to say that f is 1 to 1 if and only if, so once more by conditional, if and only if we have here whenever f of x equals f of y, so if f of x equals f of y, then x equals y. So once more conditional, if f of x equals f of y, then we're saying x is equal to y. Yeah, so once more conditional inside of biconditional, and lastly, we have the operation is commutative. So we have if for all x, y belonging to A, right? So we begin our quantifiers. We're saying for all x and for all y belonging to A. Now, whenever we have a definition, we're usually going to do the biconditional, and it tells us, right? So multiplication is, or star if you want, is commutative on A if and only if, what is it telling us? If and only if x star y is equal to y star x. And we close our parenthesis, and that is it for our definitions.